Is not the Air Force Global Strike Command at Barksdale Air Force Base the most spectacular thing you've ever seen in your life?
Yes, Senator. I was actually, when I was active duty, I was part of the forerunner, which was Strategic Air Command. So
When are we going to address the staffing shortfalls there?
I'll look to the general for a little bit, but we are having
briefly.
We are increasing to the tune of about 10,000 in the military strength within the department to try to address some of those funding or staffing shortfalls.
Briefly, sir.
The 27 budget has dollars in there to increase the end strength for the Air Force, as the Secretary noted, and that will allow us to get after a lot of the shortages that we have. The staff at Global Strike Command is certainly one of them. Other shortages that we have with maintainers, et cetera, those are all, the budget request will allow us to take care of those.
General, before I ask this question, I don't like to do it this way, but this will be an exception. I'm going to give you a point of view about what's going on around here. I know you hear all the happy talk, but I'm going to try to explain what's really going on, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. The president has pointed out that we have a crisis in defense, and we need to spend a lot more money. I mean, look around. He is, of course, correct. He's asked for 42%. It's going to be tough in regular order to do that amount. But Republicans want to spend, we haven't come to a final conclusion on the number, anywhere from 20 to 25, 27% more in the budget on defense. My Democratic friends in the Senate, and they are my friends, have said privately, that's swell. We want to spend an additional amount of money on welfare. Now, they're smart people. They know that we can't do that, and we're not going to do that. If nothing else, it would explode the deficit. And besides that, as they know, we don't have a crisis in welfare like we have a crisis in defense. It's not like we're not spending a lot of money on welfare. If we would properly define the poverty rate, it wouldn't be 10%, it would be 1%. And I'm not against helping people less fortunate than I am. I am for standing up to China and Russia and North Korea and you know the other countries I'm talking about. Now, what does that tell me? That tells me that the Democrats have no intention of helping us pass a budget. And I also predict, if I'm wrong, I will apologize, that my friend Senator Schumer is going to shut down government tight as Dick's hat band, first chance he gets before the midterms. We'll be shut down. Eventually, we won't stay shut down. We will come out of it at some point. But we'll have to come out of it with a CR. How's that going to impact the Air Force's ability to protect this country? Because my Democratic friends, and they are my friends, want to play politics before the midterm elections.
Without a reconciliation and a year-long CR that keeps us at the 890-ish total, that would have significant impacts on our readiness. A lot of the investments we've just been talking about to meet the threats from the unmanned vehicles, as well as the increased readiness for weapon systems, to increase the F-35 readiness, as well as the munitions procurement, all that is substantially impacted if we stayed at 890 without a reconciliation or other mechanism.
Well, I think you should prepare for it. Again, I hope I'm wrong, but I doubt it. You're going to hear a lot of happy talk from senators about how we need to spend more money on defense. But I think a lot of my colleagues have no intention of voting for a budget under any circumstances. They want government to be shut down, and I think Senator Schumer is going to accommodate them, so I would prepare for a shutdown and a CR. Last question quickly. Since we're shooting down $25,000 drones with $1 million missiles, why aren't we bear hugging Ukraine, which is the world's expert on drone technology, to combat drones with drones?
Senator, I'd say in many ways we are. We are looking to utilize our expertise. We are looking to utilize similar or same manufacturing supply.
But there's a hesitancy.
Not in our part, Senator.
I know, but the administration does not seem fully committed to partnering up with Ukraine. I don't understand why. They know more about drones than anybody.
A high-stakes Senate hearing on military readiness took a blunt and urgent turn as lawmakers pressed the Air Force leadership on critical staffing shortages and the looming threat of a government shutdown. The discussion quickly pivoted from standard budgetary reviews into a candid assessment of partisan gridlock and the need for more aggressive innovation in drone warfare. The exchange began with a sharp focus on Barksdale Air Force Base, home to the Air Force Global Strike Command. Despite its vital role in the nation's strategic deterrence, the command faces persistent staffing shortages that threaten operational readiness. Air Force officials acknowledged the gaps but pointed to the upcoming 2027 budget request, which aims to boost military end strength by approximately 10,000 personnel. This influx of resources is specifically designed to address personnel deficits across Global Strike Command and critical aircraft maintenance teams. The presenter then laid aside standard diplomatic protocol to offer an unvarnished assessment of the political landscape on Capitol Hill, warning defense officials to ignore the happy talk and prepare for an imminent legislative standoff. While there is broad consensus on a severe defense crisis requiring a massive funding increase, with proposals ranging from 20% to over 40%, the legislative process has stalled. Let's cut through the noise and look at what's really happening. The president is absolutely correct. We are in a defense crisis and we need to spend significantly more money to face down China, Russia, and North Korea. Yet, my colleagues across the aisle want to hold this vital funding hostage to demand parallel increases for social programs. We don't have a crisis in welfare. We have a crisis in national security. I predict that the Senate leadership has no real intention of passing a clean budget and will choose to shut down the government at the first opportunity before the midterms. When asked about the operational fallout of a government shutdown and a subsequent year-long continuing resolution, military leadership painted a grim picture. Remaining capped at baseline funding levels would severely hamstring readiness, halt essential investments in counter-unmanned aerial systems, disrupt F-35 maintenance, and paralyze critical munitions procurement. The presenter flatly advised the generals to prepare for the worst-case scenario. The final portion of the hearing zeroed in on a glaring economic imbalance in modern conflict, the unsustainable practice of utilizing multimillion-dollar missiles to intercept cheap, $25,000 enemy drones. The presenter questioned why the United States is not more aggressively partnering with Ukraine, a nation that has effectively become the world's preeminent testing ground and expert on low-cost combat drone technology. It is fundamentally unsustainable to shoot down $25,000 drones with million-dollar missiles. The numbers simply do not add up. Ukraine is leading the world right now in drone innovation and adaptation, yet there seems to be a persistent, frustrating hesitancy within the administration to fully partner with them on this front. We should be bear-hugging Ukraine to integrate their real-world expertise and combat drones with drones. While defense officials insisted that the military is actively looking to leverage drone manufacturing supply chains and shared expertise, the presenter emphasized that an administrative breakthrough is urgently required to close the gap on asymmetric threats. This hearing underscored a dangerous mismatch between accelerating global threats and Washington's sluggish political machinery. When defense funding is treated as a bargaining chip for domestic spending, military readiness takes the hit. To safeguard the nation against advanced adversaries, the Pentagon must be backed by stable, long-term budgets rather than temporary funding patches. Furthermore, the U.S. must abandon outdated, high-cost procurement mindsets and embrace the agile, cost-effective drone tactics being forged on modern battlefields.